Hello everyone, and thanks for coming today. Nice to see an array of school friends of Mark, neighbours, friends, family, etc. Mark was born in East Fremantle in 1963, September, and was the second son of Pat and Vin McLinden. He has two younger sisters, Leonie and Gay. Mark was actually baptised in this church when it was up there, the old church. We all grew up around here in Adderale. I remember Dad and other parishioners building the hall there that we're going to sort of adjourn to later on. As kids, we used to spend a lot of time in the bush over there before the houses moved in. Like his siblings, Mark went to primary school up there, St Joseph Pignatelli, or Pigo as we've always called it, before he went on to Aquinas College for years 4 to 12. Memories of those earlier years are sort of dominated by sort of weekends at the beach in summer and barbecues in the hills in winter. There were always the annual Rottnest Island holidays and intrepid road trips with Captain Vin at the wheel, taking us to places such as Augusta, Kalbarri, Kalgoorlie, Port Hedland, and one year even across the Nullarbor to Sydney and back. Mark took tennis lessons down here when there was court still here. He played junior baseball for the East Fremantle Braves and later for the University Baseball Club. And he rode for Aquinas, occupying the number 2 seat in the school's first 4. Aside from these varied sporting pursuits, Mark had a strong disposition for the artier side of life. And at school he excelled in debating, and in 1978 he won the much coveted Gilkinson Dance Studio Dancing Award. He was a good student. He did well at school and went on to university where he studied law, graduating in 1987. He started work for a local law firm called Robinson Cox. He married Claire in 1990 and moved to London, where they soon welcomed Amelia and then Harry into the world. Whilst in London, Mark worked for some international banks, Yamichi and then Swiss Bank, both of which sort of saw Mark travel around the globe. After a few years, the family returned to Perth and Mark eventually joined what is now Landgate, where he worked for over 15 years. Most recently, he was a volunteer remedial teacher working in primary schools. Now, Mark was an interesting chap, as a lot of you will know. He loved a good time. He was also very open to trying lots of different things. He read widely about a huge range of issues. He looked at Eastern religions and spiritualism. He was into astrology and mindfulness. He was a keen yoga practitioner and a meditation practitioner. He loved his essential oils and his natural remedies. He definitely knew his slippery elms from his milk thistles. Philosophy, politics, food, wine, even barbecuing methods, he researched a lot. And our regular family get-togethers were the forum where Mark would unleash his latest findings upon us and would invariably lead to long and boisterous debate. We will miss his presence at those gatherings. But we heard in the Gospel that Jesus is preparing a place for Mark, and as we gather here today, I'm sure Mark's already deeply in discussion with Jesus' project manager, being St Peter, over some possible cloud boundary realignment issues, and no doubt suggesting ways that St Peter could streamline the heaven admissions procedure. Poor old St Peter won't know what's hit him. As mentioned, Mark had a strong affiliation with the arts and probably should have worked in that industry. He was an avid reader, but an even more avid TV watcher and film goer. His eyes would light up when he would tell us about the latest series he'd discovered or film he's seen. But Mark's eyes would light up even more when he would discuss his children. and I know that when they were younger, being with them was a real tonic for Mark. He is always delighted in their journeys through life. His children have reminded me of their fond memories of holidays at Rottnest and Dunsborough, with Mark taking walks along the beach, eating ice cream at Simo's, and at other times jumping off the cliffs at Blackwall Reach, are all memories that they will treasure. Mark had a great interest in people generally, and in his nieces and nephews, some of who can't be today because they are also scattered around the globe like Mark was. He was particularly positive about anything that they were doing. My daughter recently told me that she thought Mark's defining trait was his real faith in people's capacity to succeed. And I think this sums up his outlook perfectly. As manager of Mark's affairs, I've had recent insight into his life. He led a simple life, minimum of fuss. He was well organised and well set up. He recently had a knee replacement and was gearing up for another. He was looking forward to his next chapter in life, but sadly that won't be with us, taken as he has been at the young age of 55. So farewell to you, Mark. Rest in peace. I'm sure we'll see you and hear you in the next life.